Or the Capital Weather Gang, where anytime you need us, we're at cwg.live. We have a cold week ahead. It merely gets average cold by the end of the week, into the weekend. So first, let's focus on more of the dangerous cold level temperatures and wind chills at the beginning into the middle part of the week. And yes, we could even see some snow flurries and snow showers later tomorrow into tomorrow night, expecting at most very spotty dustings, if not maybe a coating, and we'll go into the details on that as well. And this is our holiday Sunset Live Q&A chat. We do these every week on Sunday, unless there's a holiday on Monday. So I'll see you again in 6 days as a programming note for our weekly Sunday Sunset chat then. Thames and Lala, Live Well, and Jim Charge, and Kenny Sisson, and Slam and Jason, and Woodston, and Anaccio. Good to see you on Instagram. And Peter, hello. How are you doing there on Facebook? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube tonight. Anytime you need us again, we're at CWG Live. We have our live update there at the very top that we refresh multiple times a day. Forecast at a glance you can also find at WashingtonPost.com/weather. And the animation below is the temperatures that remain very frigid into the middle part of this week, easing a little bit at the end of the week, but turning toward average cold, which is roughly low to mid 40s for this time of year. By this weekend, we'll feel a little bit, it might feel a little warm because we have acclimated to very, very low temperatures, some of which we could see our coldest readings since 1996. And at least one of our overnight low temperatures could be the coldest we've seen in about a decade. So this is very notable cold. Please take care of those pipes, those pets. Check on your neighbors. Make sure everyone has heat working. This is something that the National Weather Service is watching due to these wind chills, which luckily in the meantime for tomorrow, the shorter term, wind gusts are going to be lower than today. So that's a little bit of silver lining. But it won't be very sunny tomorrow. And the next kind of 3 days or so through about Thursday morning, these wind chills, especially overnight, that's kind of the main focus of at the very bottom, you'll see the cold weather advisories. And for the highest elevations in our region, extreme cold warnings. But for most of us in the region, cold weather advisory covers these wind chills that could be in the single digits above or below zero. And the next, let's see, Tuesday night is tonight, excuse me, Monday night, Tuesday night for tomorrow night, and Wednesday night. So the next 3 nights or so into Thursday morning. After that, we should see a little bit of temperature and wind chills easing later Thursday into Friday, and especially this weekend. The good news is we get back toward average chill for this time of year in late January by this weekend. Ruth Elisa, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Indeed, very windy at times, and we could even see some snow showers and flurries tomorrow. We'll talk about that in just a second as well. Good to see you, Safari and Hadrelli and Jeannie on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. It looks like, Mary. Indeed, this time of year to stay inside and have hot chocolate. I love that. Thanks, Mary, for tuning in on Instagram. Kenny in Martinsburg, West Virginia, 14 degrees now. Good report there. Good to see you as well. All right, let's go further into the forecast. And we're going to discuss the precipitation and clouds this week. Really light amounts of precipitation. It's overall a very dry week. Maybe some snow flurries and snow showers later tomorrow into tomorrow night. And I will tell you that at most there's, a tenth of an inch of snow, maybe 50% possible in parts of the region. We're talking a very spotty dusting. Maybe a couple locations get a heavier coating of maybe a third of an inch or so. But I don't want you to be surprised. This is a very low impact event, but we all know in the DC area, we do not like to be surprised by even dustings or coatings of snow. So even if we just see flurries or snow shower tomorrow, it's so cold. The ground is so very cold. In addition to wind chills that affect pets and humans, we're going to have every flake stick if we do see some snowflakes tomorrow. So generally speaking, don't worry too much. Nothing really to plan around. But if the snow showers move in a little earlier than expected, mainly expected kind of mid to late evening, but if they move back towards the evening rush hour time, we'll keep you posted tomorrow as you go back to work. But I think maybe just flurries tomorrow afternoon, and again, 50% chance of merely a tenth of an inch of snow. Okay, I'm talking very, very little, but I don't want you to be surprised. And here's over the next 7 days rainfall amounts. The liquid equivalent, if some of this is wintry precipitation, is still very, very light. Look at that, a tenth, quarter inch in parts of the region. We remain dry. We remain in drought, unfortunately. In the darker oranges here, it's D2, severe drought. So, at the seasonal forecast I've looked at for the drought conditions in our region, they are set to ease a little bit, but drought overall should persist, just persisting a little less severely as we go forward in the coming weeks and months. Charlene, please take care of your pipes. Yes, indeed. I'm glad you've taken precautions. Fingers crossed. Indeed, I wish you well on that. David, hello. Good to see you on Facebook. Allison, good to see you on Instagram, and Mary on Instagram. The salt they've put out on some of the sidewalks has frozen into the ground. The slush has allowed some of the salt to sink and then refreeze over the salt. Unfortunately, Speedy, good to see you, science teacher. Boop, Katie, Allison, and Harpoon, and Azuit. Thanks so much for tuning in on Instagram. And BRB is saying a snowflake emoji there on Instagram. It is very cold, very snowy, with even some flurries or some snow showers later tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Maybe a dusting at most in the region. So let's look ahead at our SPI first off being so low, a 1 out of 10, as you saw today at cwg.live. Anytime you need us, we give you our daily update of the snow potential index. And as right now, you can see there over the temperatures for next week, which are not kind of leaning either below or above average, not giving us a clear signal. We are keeping our snow potential index low, a 1 out of 10. Can't deny maybe a dusting or a light coating of snow late tomorrow into tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow night. But looking in the medium term for precipitation, there is a slight lean toward above average precipitation for next week. And as if we want to go back to our precipitation animation, there are some discussions that the precipitation above, albeit light over the next 6 days or so, could we see later Sunday into Monday a wintry start to a storm system that wants to maybe move near our region? Can't rule it out, and of course, our SPI will increase if needed as we get closer to later Sunday into Monday. But right now, we're not seeing the ingredients come together. The signals are not really consistent. The signals for a winter storm are not strong. And we really want to see kind of strong signals and consistent signals for like a winter presentation of multiple background simulations of all the global weather modeling systems, and we just simply don't see that right now. There's no agreement on even a wintry onset to a storm system potentially late Sunday into Monday, but you can count on us at cwg.live to keep you posted as we get closer. I would love a little bit more wintry weather, but we need to thaw out just a little bit first. And luckily, some more average chill temperatures, cold temperatures for this upcoming weekend should allow us to thaw out just a little bit. All right, our latest forecast there at the very top. Forecast at a glance graphically for you just above my hat here. Temperature animation below just to really drive home how it is going to be so cold, even without considering wind chills, for the beginning and middle part of this week. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. This is our weekly Sunset Live Q&A chat, but it's a holiday edition. Normally, as you'll again see me in 6 days, we'll go back to our Sunday Sunset Live Q&A. Weekly, you can count on seeing me on Sundays unless there's a Monday holiday. And of course, we're at WashingtonPost.com/weather for the Capital Weather Gang, or go directly to CWG Live, and we're updating our forecast at the very top there multiple times a day. So anytime you need us, you can also follow all four of our social media channels: Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Ayana and Kathy and Sadala, good to see you. Dr. Chris and Nazadi and Apologetically, BG, Savannah, let's see, Brussels sprouts, and let's see, we've got Alfimi. It is darn cold. Relocating to Florida was a bad choice. So uh, I'm hoping you were a little warmer there, Alim Fini, from tuning in on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in from Florida. It's a little better there than the mid-Atlantic for temperatures at least, but I'm sure it's all relative in some regard. And speaking of relative, these temperatures are somewhat coldest that we've seen potentially since 1996. One of our low temperatures coming up, I think Tuesday night, we could be the coldest we've seen since 1996. And at the very least, some of these readings are going to be the coldest we've seen in a decade. And let's talk about wind chills because wind at least will be a little better tomorrow, only moderates, maybe a couple gusts around 15 miles per hour. But because temperatures are so cold, we have these cold weather advisories at the very bottom there from the National Weather Service. Wind chills are now animated below. So this is the combination of wind blowing over your skin of pets or humans. So when you take the temperature, add in the wind, you're going to get the wind chill. That's going to be below what the thermometer is reading you this time of year. So opposite of heat index, opposite of it's basically the feels like temperature this time of year is going to be colder than the thermometer temperature because of winds. It's going to just strip away your ability of your skin to stay warm. Okay, so when we look at these wind chills, single digits potentially the next 3 nights, above and below zero. So I'm very glad for especially overnight hours. This cold weather advisory from the National Weather Service is in effect, and the dark blue in the highest elevations of our region is a extreme cold warning. So if you're going skiing over there in West Virginia, perhaps be very cautious and please pay attention to local officials or ski resort officials on how long you can stay outside skiing. All right, so we are being mindful of our neighbors, our pets, our pipes, our own skin. We need to make sure we are covering our skin, not letting ourselves stay out for too long. Keep moving and try and avoid being out and exposing yourself directly the skin to the wind chills in the next 3 nights, especially. But things abate, things get a little better later Thursday and to Friday. And then we see average temperatures by this upcoming weekend, and we should be in the low to mid 40s this time of year for late January. And finally, we get back to that by the weekend. So that is some good news. Precipitation above and an animation of clouds below. Kind of cloudy again tomorrow. Don't want to overpromise too bright of a week, but I think we do see some brighter skies Wednesday, Thursday, and probably Friday. And then this weekend, I think it gets cloudier. We could see, maybe a chance of some wintry precipitation at the beginning of a storm that might approach our region later Sunday into Monday, but we'll keep you posted. Currently, we have our SPI, our snow potential index there, at a 1 out of 10 at cwg.live. So we'll keep you posted and you can tune in every day for an update. That's kind of a quick way to read. Like, what are we looking forward to in the next 7 days for snow potential, accumulating snow potential of an inch or more? Right now, roughly 10% chance. We don't see the ingredients really coming together in a strong way, a consistent manner. But in this graphic above, we've got temperatures not really leaning above or below average for next work week, and precipitation leaning above average. Could we see a brief pool of cold enough air along with maybe a track of moisture through our region to give us some wintry precipitation? Cannot rule it out, and that's why our SPI is not a 0 out of 10 because we are monitoring things going forward, but snow lovers keep those expectations managed for now. In the shorter term, we do have a chance for a dusting late tomorrow, more likely tomorrow evening and early nighttime hours. So, despite precipitation being very light in our animation here above this week, it's so cold, so dry, it only takes a little bit of moisture, and we could see just enough tomorrow for a 50-50 chance of a tenth of an inch of snow in parts of the region. So, manage this expectation, snow lovers. I'm just trying to help commuters, let's say, not be surprised if they see some snowflakes later tomorrow for the evening commute. Hopefully, the heavier, spotty, but sometimes moderate snow showers hold off until tomorrow evening after everyone gets home. We'll keep you posted if this does look to kind of snarl the evening rush a bit more than it appears now. So, again, very spotty, if any, accumulation tomorrow. And amounts we're talking about are a tenth of an inch, a dusting to maybe a little bit of a coating. But again, don't want you surprised out there tomorrow if you do see that. Again, just hitting home light moisture amounts over the next 7 days. We're talking a tenth of an inch if we're lucky, quarter inch in the luckiest spots. The dry pattern continues to plague our region, keeping us in droughts. D2 in the dark orange, that's a severe level drought in our region. Expected to generally persist, hopefully easing a little bit in the next month or two. So hopefully we can downgrade from D2 drought to D1 drought. That is about all I want to promise in the coming month or so, based on current signals in the medium to longer term. Shapi, Jen Hawken, Mamalota, Logan, Kent. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And I'm making sure I haven't missed any questions or comments, but of course, repeat them. I have no problems repeating questions on any of our 4 social media channels just to make sure I've caught everything on Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Ruth Elisa, no blizzards currently in the forecast. Ruth Elisa, indeed, tomorrow is much less than an inch. If we see any spotty dusting accumulation, we're talking a dusting coating around a tenth of an inch of snow tomorrow. All right, Firebird, please have a great time in Florida and Steel City DW1X. Good to see you. Uh, Indeed, there could be a little bit of snow in Houston and New Orleans. And let's see, snowy chill ahead. Yes, Ruth Lisa, I like that. Good to see you thinking, missing Rex there on X. And you take care as well, Ariana, and David as well. The average temperatures this upcoming weekend, when we get back into the 40s, could feel a little bit balmy. Yes, we could still have some slippery spots tonight on Rose. Good call on that, Ruth Elisa. Good to see you as well. All right, I think I've caught up on all four of our social media. Teresa, milder weather by the time this upcoming weekend comes. Yes, indeed. Let's review that really quick. So, forecast at the very top that we have, there it is, at cwg.live anytime you need us. And the animation below of temperatures this upcoming week to represent and drive home how cold it will be. Frigid, sometimes dangerous Arctic air into the middle part of this week. You can get full updates at cwg.live. And just above my hat here is the forecast at a glance, helping to summarize the cold air easing by the end of the week and especially into the weekend. Can you believe it? Average high temperatures in the low to mid 40s by this weekend could feel, I think David and Ruth Lisa were kind of hinting it could feel a little bit balmy. We are acclimated to temperatures 20 to sometimes 30 degrees below average during this Arctic outbreak in the early to middle part of this week. So it will, average will actually feel warm perhaps by this upcoming weekend. All right, let me show you the wind tomorrow as some silver lining good news. It is going to behave, maybe a gust or two near 15 miles an hour. That's not terrible, but we do have some cold weather advisories and extreme cold weather warnings in the highest parts of our region because wind chills, which is what I want to animate here below. Wind chills over the next 3 nights could be in the single digits above and below zero for parts of a region, especially north and west of town. So this is a great call by the National Weather Service for a cold weather advisory in our area. We have not seen, by some readings, this much cold air since 1996. So it has been a very long time. And I think even by kind of the more tame measures, it's been at least 10 years since we've seen some wind chills and low temperatures around this level. So this is markedly cold. We are not acclimated or used to it in the mid-Atlantic. So please check on neighbors, pets, elderly, and make sure you protect yourself. Please don't have skin exposed to these wind chills, especially during nighttime hours, in the coming 3 days through Thursday morning at least. I think things will feel better by Thursday afternoon into Friday for this week. Leonardo, good to see you. Mula and Kemp and Kadik and Lexi and Socrates and MB Patch, good to see you. And Mel, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And we've got, what else? We've got Ruth Elisa, indeed freezing evenings for the most part on Facebook. Good to see you, Ruth Lisa and Tin Man. Good to see you on, I'm sorry you're so cold there on YouTube. Good to see you. And Steel City DW, and you going to warmer climates and getting the swim trunks for something, maybe a swim in the southern tier of the United States. That's excellent. And we are increasing daylight now, Firebird DC5 on YouTube. We have gone past the shortest days, and we've definitely got several more minutes. We're adding about uh, 9 minutes or so onto even just our later sunsets. Every week, we're adding about 9 minutes onto our sunsets right now. So the overall from sunrise to sunset, that's expanding. Our day length is getting longer. So that's some great news going into later January. Ruth Lisa, you take care as well. And happy MLK Day to you as well. Rick is saying very cold dog walks. Don't keep those pets, out very long in these cold weather advisory conditions. So do take care of those pets, your pipes, elderly, your neighbors, and yourself. Make sure you're protecting your skin. Keep that bare skin from being exposed for very long, more than 20 minutes. You really can get frostbite in some of these conditions with expected wind chills animated here below in the single digits above and below zero. All right, I am about to sign off. I'll see you next week, indeed, next Sunday in 6 days for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker. Anytime you need us, we're at CWG Live. Thanks for joining for our holiday edition. Our holiday Mondays do this about 5 times a year. We have a holiday Sunset Live Q&A chat. You can find us anytime you need us at CWG Live. And please stay warm through midweek. This is borderline dangerous cold at times. So please bundle up. Please keep your pets, your neighbors, check on everyone around you, just make sure everyone's staying safe and not exposing your skin too long to these conditions. It is borderline dangerous at times. Thinking on X, good to see you, and Patricia, and Segway, and Firebird, good to see you as well, D Chud, and Planet, Riojas, and Alan. Thanks everyone for tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X. I'll see you in 6 days on Sunday.